Hey, hey, hey. Okay, I decided to switch it up this time. Okay, because y'all know I've been doing two music shows, which was Trilogy of Soul and Preston Records. And I'm all about the music, all about the songs, all about the instrumentals. But I decided to go on another side of my brain and do something. Let me get my notes here and do something a little bit different because if y'all haven't known me before, you wouldn't know that I was a romance writer before I started writing, about music and stuff. And music is in my blood. I'm always gonna write songs and create beats and my own stuff. I do not do things that are like what they call it, samples. No, a melody will be in my head. Okay. So this is a story called But She Got Three Kids. But for the fact that she is a single mom, but for the fact that, she's a what some people might call a HO. And that's not always the case with single moms with three kids. A lot of times we get in relationships. Now I didn't because I didn't have a child out of wedlock. So, but I'm never gonna throw shade on sisters who have. Okay, that's not even me. But here's my thing about that. Okay, sometimes people can make mistakes, but this story is centered around a woman who has three kids and she's a single mother. And is she struggling? Of course, like any single mother would, right? So she meets this guy who is a carpenter and he flips homes and he's bought several homes and flipped them and he likes her. He likes her for who she is. He is not looking at this whole high value man thing. That's not how Darren is. Darren really likes Heidi. But now the question becomes, is the three kids going to interfere with that or put a damper on? Oh, I thought there was some water in that bottle. It's not. On his relationship with her. Y'all got to wait and see. Wait and see how this rolls out. Okay. And that there are 6 parts to this story. So welcome to part 1. And I hope you find it exciting because it starts off exciting. It starts off with drama. But I'm not the type of person that writes about, oh, woe is me to the Black woman. That's not who I am. I'm not the type of person that, some people, they write about Black women with all these problems just weighing them down and they just can't get a break. I ain't that girl. Okay. I can't do it like that because I'm a Black woman myself and I know that I've been on many battlefields, but for us, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel and we always take it. But that said, I'm going to see y'all on the other side of the end of part 6. And unless you haven't seen all the other 5 parts, do not go and listen to my commentary at the end of part 6 as to why I wrote the story the way that I did, because it's loaded with spoilers. Okay? So let me get my 60-year-old butt off of here and let y'all go ahead on and get into this story. And like I said, I'll see you on the other side of the end of part 6. All right, bye. Take care. Prologue. Where have you been, Terrence? Heidi bellowed the minute he entered the house. He staggered towards her. She could tell he was drunk out of his mind. She was thankful he'd made it home safely, but this right here had to stop.
You don't be questioning me about where I'm at. I pay the bills around here. You do what I say and keep your mouth shut.
So, it's okay for you to go out and do whatever you want. And I'm supposed to sit here and not say anything? She knew he was fooling around with other women. She had been trying to deal with it, but she could no longer keep quiet.
What'd I just say?
It was 3 in the morning. The children were sleeping. Her youngest, Taryn, was his child. The other two, Kendall and Brianna, were from a man named Xavier who had been locked up for 6 years already. He had been sentenced to 25 years for aggravated assault. I cook dinner for you every night, keep the house clean, and do all I'm supposed to do for you, Terry. I'm tired of you treating me like I'm insignificant while you go around talking about me to your women.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about that girl named Paulette you've been running around with. I saw her in the grocery store today.
You don't like it?
No, I don't like it. It was bad enough for him to go out and cheat, but to talk bad about her to his hoes was a bridge too far.
Then you can get out.
What? What did you just...
Out. Matter of fact, I'll help you.
He headed to the master bedroom and started grabbing her clothes from the closet, opened the front door and tossing her things outside. Terry, what are you doing? Terry, what are you doing?
You said you don't like it, so I'm putting you out.
He answered as he carried another batch of her belongings to the front door. She tried to stop him, but he shoved her out of the way. Terry, I never thought you would do something like this to me. What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me?
What it look like I'm doing? And get them kids out of here, too.
What about Taryn? You gonna put your own daughter out, too? He refused to speak as he headed to the room where Taryn and her older sister Brianna slept. By then, Kendall had exited his room, rubbing his eyes.
What's going on, Mama?
Heidi could see Terrence was not going to change his mind. She continued to beg him nonetheless. Terry, can we wait until daylight? Do you have to do this now? Terry!
Yeah, well, I don't care.
Terry,
look, I don't care what you do. I don't
Terry.
care what you do. You ain't gonna do it in here. Get yourself and them kids up out of here.
She headed outside to gather her things. She told Kendall to watch his sisters while she went into the house to get the keys to the 12-year-old Chevrolet. She used the car to go grocery shopping, take the kids to and from school, and their after-school events. She got the keys from the kitchen table, but he snatched them from her before she made it outside. Terry, I need the car for the kids.
But you ain't pay for that car.
But can you at least let me use it? You have 2 cars, Terry.
Nope. Figure it out.
Well, can I at least have some hefty bags for our clothes? He headed to the kitchen, reached into the cabinet beneath the sink and grabbed the 3 bags. He shoved them at her and said,
There you go. Now get out.
Her tears blinded her. She could not describe the pain in her heart. She could not catch her breath. She felt weak. This felt like the worst nightmare she had ever had. She headed back outside, the painful looks on her children's faces. She tried to remain strong for them. If they saw her fall apart, they would too. She calmly placed their belongings into the bags. Kendall hurried around the side of the house and grabbed Brianna's other wagon that was in the backyard. Thank you, son. Ma, why is he putting us out? I'll explain to you once we get to your grandmother's house. Okay. They walked throughout the night. When Taryn complained of being tired, she placed the child on top of the bags in the wagon. The bags provided a lot of comfort for her. After an hour of walking, they arrived at the apartment complex where her mother lived. Heidi did not even have a cell phone. Terrence didn't allow her to take it with her. She headed to the apartment building. Her mother lived on the basement level. She and the children walked down the flight of steps and knocked on door B102. Who is it? Asked the voice behind the door. It was 5 a.m. by this time. Heidi saw the peephole go dark. It took everything inside of her not to erupt with tears. It's me, Mama. Me and the kids. They heard the 4 locks of the door undoing, and a short woman in her mid-50s stood there. She opened the door wide enough for them to step inside. She watched as the children filed in one at a time, and Kendall pulled the wagon stuffed with large bags. Letty was horrified at the scene before her, but not surprised. Here was her child and 3 grandkids out in the middle of a late October night. She knew what had happened. She didn't even have to ask. Put the kids in my room, and you can use the car to take them to school later on. Thanks, Mama, Heidi said as she led the children to the bedroom. Letty had a queen-size bed, but Kendall wanted to sleep in the recliner that Letty used whenever she watched TV in her bedroom. Once Heidi closed the door, she joined her mother in the kitchen. You want some coffee? No, Mama. I got a headache right now. She sat at the table and watched her mother move around the kitchen. She wore a quilted pink robe and a pink scarf covering her night curlers. Mama, you have any aspirin? Letty reached into the cabinet and grabbed the Tylenol and handed her daughter a bottle of water. Heidi tossed 2 tablets into her mouth and followed it up with water. She rubbed the sides of her face. Letty sat down next to her at the small table and touched her daughter's hand. What happened, baby? He put us out, Mama. I questioned him about why he was out so late. He's out there messing around and he thinks I'm supposed to. She could not help crying. That was a cry she had been suppressing for over an hour. She did not want the children to see her so broken. Baby, we Black women have gone through so much trying to support and help these Black men. But Mama, it's not all Black men. There are enough of them. There's enough of them out there. I never thought he would have done that since we have a child together. Heidi, some of these men don't care nothing about their own kids. I just thought he was different. Letty did not respond to Terrence's character, but she did say, Heidi, you played white for this man for over 4 years. I know he let you move in when you got pregnant with Terrence, but Black men tend to think they can do whatever they want when they paying all the bills. They think you supposed to take it. Mama, but it's not all men. Then why do men of other cultures marry their women more than Black men do? That's why it's always good to have your own. You've already gone through this with Xavier. You can have a man and a career. You're smart. You at least have a year college. You can do it, Heidi. Well, we're going to stay here until I can get my own place. Is that okay? And we promise not to be a burden, Mama. Baby, you can stay here as long as you want. You're my child. You're my baby. Letty had 2 daughters. Sonia, her eldest daughter, who was 2 years older than Heidi. Thank you, Mama. You'll get it together, girl. You will, baby. And just never rely on a man again. But you gonna be all right. You gonna be all right, baby girl. Heidi resolved that is what she would do. Never would another man ever be able to have that much control over her life again. Chapter 1, 4 years later. Good night, Heidi, Sonia said. Good night. See you tomorrow. Sonia grabbed her purse from the back. Heidi was in front of the restaurant, wiping down the counter and placing the clean coffee pots onto the counter. You sure you don't need a ride? Alan will give you a ride home. No, y'all go ahead. I'll get the bus. It's after 10, Heidi. I'll be fine. If need be, I'll grab an Uber. Heidi had gotten a job as a waitress at a restaurant owned by her sister's father-in-law. She worked there Monday through Thursday in the evenings while her mother looked after the children, and she worked for a small office where she did data entry on Friday and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Her son Kendall was now 12, Brianna 11, and Taryn was 8. She hadn't heard much from Terrence within the last couple of years. He had only been by to visit his daughter a handful of times since the night he put her out. Sonia kissed her sister. Okay, sis. Call me when you get home. I will. Heidi finished stocking up the napkins and straws at the counter. It was her night to close, and she did not want to hold Sonia up. Her sister only worked at the restaurant 2 evenings during the week. She headed to the back, removed her purse. She counted her tips for the night, which would amounted to $152. It had been a great night. Soon she would be able to buy herself a car. She rented a 2-bedroom apartment in the same complex where her mother lived. She had qualified for the low rent program because of the number of dependents she had. At first, she almost did not get the 2 bedrooms because she had a son and 2 daughters, and Kendall would need his own room. But the woman at the rental office discovered they had a 2-bedroom with a den available and suggested that Heidi could use the extra den as a room for her son, even though it did not have a closet. God had been looking out for her ever since. She placed a wad of cash she had earned into her bra along with her driver's license. She put $12 into her purse, grabbed her sweater, removed her apron, and headed out of the restaurant, locking up the place. The restaurant was located downtown, which tended to be quiet during the late night, but things were changing. She walked down Reginald Boulevard to the bus stop. She heard footsteps behind her. She placed her hand on her mace on the keychain she held. She swung around to face the man who was right behind her. What do you want? She was ready to mace him.
Just hand it over.
She rested on her left foot and smirked. You want to rob me? Is that what you want?
Ain't that what I just said?
Mister, why would you want to rob a woman with a house full of kids? You ain't going to get much doing that. Besides, I work at a restaurant as a waitress. Here, take it. Go ahead. She proffered her purse to him. He snatched the purse and opened the wallet and removed the $12 she had stashed in there. See, I told you wasn't going to get much. He tossed the purse back at her and took off running. The bus arrived 3 minutes later. She showed her pass and sat down. Hello, Garrett. Working late tonight?
Yeah,
So how is Rain?
she's good. We're due any day now.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Do y'all know what y'all having?
We having a girl.
Oh, congratulations. Tell her I said so and send her my love. 10 minutes later, he was arriving in the complex where she lived. He pulled to a stop and opened the door. Thanks, Garrett. Once again, tell Rain I said hello for me, okay?
I will, and you stay safe out in these streets now, all right?
Okay, thanks. Heidi opened the door. Her mother was sitting in the chair sleeping. She was still wearing her eyeglasses and the TV was on. Mama, Mama. Letty opened her eyes. Hey, girl. You okay? She glanced at the time on her cell phone. Yeah, Mama. Why didn't you sleep in my room? I didn't even know I had fallen asleep, girl. Her mother's apartment building was right across the court from hers. Letty slipped on her shoes and said, I'm ready to go. Okay, I'll walk you over. Chapter 2. Thursdays were not usually busy, but this day ended up bustling with business. Things were quiet during the morning after breakfast until 11:30, when about 8 construction workers entered the place at once. Uh-oh, we got to get moving. You take one table, sis, and I'll take the other, Sonia said as she hurried to grab menus. The men occupied 2 separate tables. Heidi approached the table and placed menus in front of each of the men and said, "What can I get you guys to drink?"
You got lemonade?
One of the guys asked. "Yes, we do. Will this be on one check or separate?" All of them said separate at once. "You ain't buying for everybody at the table today, Darren?" One guy asked a man who sat closer to the window.
Do y'all Negroes look like my children?
The men erupted with laughter, and Heidi had to laugh too.
I'll take coffee.
Darren said, "Okay, any cream with that, sir?"
No, just black.
After she finished taking orders, she headed over to get those drinks filled. Once she got the drinks, she brought them over on a tray and set them on the table. She placed them in front of the guys and said, "Your food will be here shortly. Anything else I can get you guys?"
How about you?
Not on the menu." The one named Darren, who sat near the window, told the other guy,
Oh, that was a smooth line. Thank you, Heidi.
"You're welcome, sir." She headed back to her station, which was right beside Sonia's. "I heard them dudes over there getting fresh with you. That one on the black pullover is cute." "I wouldn't know. I hadn't even noticed." "Heidi, it's been 4 years." "So, what does that mean?" "It means you deserve happiness." "I'm a happy single mother raising her kids. I like my 2 jobs, and pretty soon, one day, I'm gonna have me a brand new car paid with cash, and then hopefully a nice home." "You've been working 4 years to get a car." "And I'm almost there. My credit score is now 720, and another $800, I'll be able to buy that car." "Well, I can't argue with that. And I'm doing it all without a man. I don't even get child support." "I keep telling you, you need to take Terrence downtown." "I can't. He's being elusive when it comes to his employment. I think he's being paid under the table." "Yeah, I feel you. But you know what, sis? I am proud of you. You know that." Sonia hugged her sister. Heidi brought the food to the guys after waiting on an older couple. "Here you go, guys."
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. "Excuse me, but you and that other waitress, are y'all related?" One of the guys asked her. "Yes, we're sisters. Why?" "Y'all look alike." "Thanks. I consider that a compliment." She thought Sonia was gorgeous, and anytime someone said they looked alike, she took it as just that, a compliment. "Would you guys be needing anything else?"
Hot sauce.
The one named Darren said. "Coming right up." The restaurant was quite noisy with those guys there. Things had gotten very live and colorful. "Where in the world did all these dudes come from?" Heidi asked Sonia once they were able to squeeze in a short break. "Oh, them? They're working on that office building about 2 blocks down." "Oh, okay." The men finally left, and Heidi went to clean off the table. They had been sitting there for more than a whole hour. Each guy tipped her, but the guy who was close to the window gave her $20 in tips. His meal was only $12.49. She smiled. She added that to the other tips and placed it in her pocket and zipped it up. "Did you rack up some tips too, girl?" "Oof." Sonia asked her sister once the rush had died down. "Oh yeah, you?" "Yes, girl. I hope they don't hurry to finish that building no time soon." Heidi called their mother once she was able to take a break. By 2 p.m., there were only a handful of people in the restaurant. One of her regular customers, an old dude named Walter, came in and wanted a slice of her sweet potato pie. He boasted that Heidi's pie was the best he had ever tasted. Yeah, okay, I should be home by 7 tonight, Mama. Sonia and another girl are closing tonight. Okay, the kids should be here soon. Okay, and Mama, can you please help Taryn with her timetable? I will. Thanks, Mama. I'll see you in a few hours. Around 5:30, one of the construction workers returned to the restaurant. He sat at the same table he'd sat at when he came in for lunch earlier. He was the one who tipped her $20. Hello again. What can I get for you? And by the way, thanks for the generous tip.
You're welcome. I see you have the meatloaf tonight. I'll take that with green beans and mashed potatoes.
Sure. Anything to drink?
You have beer?
She noticed a slight twinkle in his eye. He had medium brown skin, a short haircut, and the whitest teeth she had ever seen. Well, we only serve alcohol on Friday and Saturday because this is considered a family restaurant.
Can you make an exception this time?
I'll see what I can do. Hold on. She headed back to the office and approached Adrian, who owned the restaurant.
Hey, Heidi. What's up, girl?
I have a customer who wants a beer. I told him we only serve alcohol on the weekends, but he wants to know if you can make an exception. Adrian had been looking over some of his accounts. He held a pencil in his left hand while his right hand hit some of the keys on the calculator.
Sure, why not? We're about to change that rule anyway.
Really?
Yes, we'll be serving alcohol Monday through Saturday after 6 p.m. starting next month.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, he's fine. He can get a beer.
Heidi did not realize she was still smiling until she reached the table and the man said,
That looks like good news.
What do you mean?
You're smiling. You must have been given permission to serve me a beer.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, yes, the owner said yes.
I'll take a Coors.
Coming right up, sir. She headed to the refrigerator in the back and grabbed his beer. She set it next to him on a napkin with a glass. Would you like an appetizer while you wait on your food?
No thanks. And by the way, I'm Darren.
She reached over and shook his hand. Thanks, and nice to meet you.
You'll probably see me often. We'll be here a while working on that building down the street.
Oh, okay. And by the way, I'm Heidi. He smiled before opening the beer and turning it up to his lips. And he said,
I know. I read your name tag.
She felt a little flush, but she tried to reel in those feelings she was having. She laughed nervously and said, I didn't take you to be a man who could read.
Oh, you got a quick sense of humor. I like that.
Heidi could not help but to laugh. For more than 4 years, it had been tough for any man to penetrate that wall, but Darren had a way of melting that ice, and he was generous. Thanks. Enjoy your beer, Darren. I'll be back with your food.
And thank you, Heidi.
She rushed to the back. Sonia had just hung up the phone as she had been talking to her husband. When she noticed Heidi's disposition, she said, Looks like somebody's having some fun. Oh, no. I was just talking to a customer. Looks like y'all were getting along. Sonia, he's just a customer and a means to pay my bills. Heidi countered before grabbing a tray, placing Darren's food on it, and heading to the front. Here you go, sir. Enjoy your food.
Thank you so much, Heidi.
Would you be needing any condiments?
Hot sauce.
She noticed he loved hot sauce. She headed to her station, grabbed the hot sauce, and brought it back to him. He thanked her, and she greeted customers at the table who had just arrived. Chapter 3. Darren was never too tired to work on his house once he got off work. He headed upstairs. The place had 6 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms located in the historical district of downtown. He had purchased it for only $62,000, but the place needed a lot of work. He had repaired the roof, electricity, the floors, replaced toilets, sinks and tubs, remodeled the kitchen, and now it was time to paint. He loved that house because it had so many windows, allowing in sun from all angles of the house. This was the third house he had bought, but he planned on living in this one, not flipping it. One of them he was renting out, and the other one he sold for nearly triple the amount he had purchased it for. He was an electrician by trade and worked in carpentry and construction. He loved working on things, fixing things. Ever since Melanie died, he had spent many days by himself. His 19-year-old daughter, Danya, was in her second year of college. Darren Drummond was now 44 and had been a widower for over 5 years now. He had been on a few dates, but nobody seemed to interest him for very long. His focus was mostly on his daughter and his business of real estate. But there were times when loneliness was overwhelming, and he couldn't fight that natural tendency to want to marry again. There were 18 large cans of paint in the long hallway along the railing. He figured he would start painting the bathroom first. He placed the cloth on the floor, opened a can, and poured it into a tray, and took the roller and began painting the wall. He wouldn't replace the towel rack until he was done. In the middle of painting the bathroom, Heidi crossed his mind. Her large, beautiful eyes and dimples were the first things he noticed about her. She was the color of cinnamon. He had to wonder if she was married. Her left hand indicated that she was not. But what if she just didn't wear her wedding ring at work? He knew to assume nothing. His phone rang. The ringtone indicated that it was his daughter. Hi, Daddy.
Hey, baby girl, what's up?
Nothing. I'll be home next week.
Oh, yeah? I should have your room done by then.
How are things going with the house, Daddy?
Well, I'm in the process of painting now. All the repairs are done, baby girl. You should see it.
Oh, okay. I want my room to be blue.
Blue? Why blue?
He had not bought any blue paint. All of it was off-white. Sky blue, yeah. What's wrong with that? He eyed all the cans of paint in the hallway where he stood, leaning against the railing. He had a clear view of the living room beneath him.
Nothing, Danya. I'll paint it sky blue. I'm working in one of the bathrooms right now. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He heard her speaking to someone. The voice on the other end sounded like a male.
Who is that?
Oh, that's Eddie.
Eddie? Who is Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie. He's a friend of mine.
What kind of friend?
Daddy, stop tripping. He's not some dusty. He's in my study group.
Make sure that's all he is a study group person.
Okay, Daddy. Do you want to speak to him?
Yeah, let me talk to him.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Eddie. What's your last name? And how did you meet my daughter?
Well, my last name is Harris, and we go to the same school. I'm in history class with her.
Just don't end up in her dorm room, okay?
Well, sir, I swear I have never...
And don't ever.
Daddy!
Where that bum at? I wasn't done talking to him.
Daddy, calm down. I'm your daughter, remember? I'm not going to do anything stupid. That did calm him some, and he realized he might have overreacted. But how could a man overreact when it comes to his daughter?
Do you need anything, baby?
Not right now. I'll see you in a week, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it, darling.
Before he could get back to what he was doing, the phone rang again.
What's up, Myrick?
Say, man, why you ain't go to Bookies with us tonight? I asked Blue where you was.
I went to Adrian's. I was hungry. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold up. Ain't that place we ate for lunch? Yeah, they had meatloaf. That's their Thursday special. Oh man, really? Really? Yeah, really. Yeah, really. Really? Yeah, really. Really. What? Sure, nothing else special was going on over there. Okay. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, Myra. Like a certain waitress? I'm hanging up on you, man. Wait, whoa. Hold up. She was kind of cute, though. Well, why didn't you tell her that? You the one ain't got no woman. I got a woman. You the one single and unhappy. When did I ever say I was unhappy, Myrick? Alright, suit yourself, but you going to the game this weekend, right? Yeah, I'll meet you at the stadium. Cool.
Darren returned to his project. He thought about something Myrick said that was true. He was not happy. Not happy being single, but he was happy overall. However, he wasn't about to get into a relationship that he knew would not work. These days, women had just as much game as men, and to him, men were to blame for much of that. Men had turned these women into these so-called monsters they could be at times. If it had not been for men cheating, being emotionally and physically abusive, women would probably trust men more. He'd even encourage his own daughter to get an education, make her own money, and not rely on a man. He was a caretaker, a protector. But how was any woman to believe that? So many of them had been hurt by men. He didn't blame women for not having the trust in men his grandmother and mother might have had. And now that women had become better at gaming, cheating, and being independent than men, those same men who caused that effect were walking around angry. Darren was angry too, angry at the dudes who had hurt these women. And now they were all looked at suspiciously by women. How would one navigate their way to a relationship with the gender wars going on within the black community? You had guys out there like Melvin Daniels, a YouTube influencer, who told women they weren't worth getting a quality man while giving a nod and a wink to guys who cheated on their women, all because they were high salary earners, and telling women they should expect wealthy, powerful men to cheat. Darren could not help but to wonder, what had this done to the emotional health of women? Then there was this other guy who claimed to be married to two women, advocating polygamy. In other words, cheating in a permissive way. Now younger men were hopping on that wagon. What did this do to women emotionally? He was fed up with a red pill culture. There was a growing number of women advocating for independence, the same thing he was telling his daughter to do. The black community had become dilapidated and broken, and he could not help but to blame the men. Men were supposed to be the leaders in any culture. He couldn't understand how and why they had failed so miserably. So, when dudes who approach him with the negative rhetoric about women, he didn't want to hear it. If a person wanted to know how the men were in any community, just look at the actions and movement of the women. When he looked at the black women, he saw the failures of men. The more women became independent, the more that told the story of failed men. The number of black women getting degrees and becoming high earners was growing ever faster. How could he ever convince any woman that he would protect and care for her when she had that covered already?